distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome all of you to the event, the Italian Design Day 2022. And this year program with the theme Regeneration, Design and New Technologies for Sustainable Development takes place in 3 places in Hanoi, the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering in Ho Chi Minh City and in Italy. And to start with the program today, I would like to introduce the presence and attendance of the delegates, and the program is in Vietnamese with the simultaneous translation. You can use the headphones for the translation. And the event is live on Zoom platform and live stream on Facebook of the Italian Embassy. To attend the event today, I would like to introduce Mr. Antonio Alessandro, Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Italy to Vietnam. May I introduce Dr. Pablo Epipali, Deputy Director of Italian Embassy to Vietnam, and Mr. Dominic Lambri, the Scientific Collaboration Attaché of the Republic of France to Vietnam, and Mr. Nguyễn Đức Hùng, Deputy Director of the Hanoi Planning Institute. And from the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, may I introduce Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Duy Hòa, Rector of the university. And especially to note that in our program today, I would like to introduce architect Marco Lambri, Piezo Design Director, also the Ambassador of Design of Italian Day 2022. Italian Design Day 2022. And now to start, may I have my pleasure to introduce and invite Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Duy Hòa, Rector of the SUCE, to give a welcoming remarks.
Thưa ngài Antonio,
Ambassador Antonio Alessandro, Your Excellency, Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Italy to Vietnam, representatives from the Italian Embassy to Vietnam, Architecture Marco Lambri, Design Director of the Piezo Group, also the Ambassador of the Italy Design Day 2022. Distinguished guests, representatives from the French Embassy, Bulgarian Embassy, and Hanoi Planning Institute, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and dear students. At first, on behalf of the SUCE, I am very pleased to warmly welcome all of you to the opening of the Italy Design Day 2022 in Vietnam with the theme Regeneration, Design and New Technologies for Sustainable Development today. The Italian Design Day is an annual event by the Italian Embassy to Vietnam to widespread the quintessences as well as the humanitarian and sustainable values in the arts of designing. Annually, the program is well organized with the participation and presentation of experts and leading designers. On this occasion, I would like to thank you, the Italian Embassy to Vietnam, especially in person, the Ambassador, Excellency Antonio Alessandro, for trusting the SUCE and accompanying and directly taking part in the activities of the program over the last years. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the Italian Design Day today is Regeneration, Design and New Technologies for Sustainable Development. It is a humanitarian theme associated with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. In the UN Framework Convention on the Climate Change, COP COP26, November 2021, Vietnam is strongly committed to the sustainable development when we move towards to the zero emission in 2050. And to realize these goals, Vietnam needs a new generation of designers, experts, and scientists with wow understanding in the designing creativity, but also to have an excellent command of technique and technology. Then we can create products which is beautiful, energy saving, and also to ensure the sustainable development goals. As well as to the designing philosophy of PSO. And this is identified in the strategic direction of the UN, of the university. And we develop the training programs of the interdiscipline and international integration. Our architects and engineers are trained and equipped with the knowledge of design from the Faculty of Architecture and Planning. And at the same time, they are equipped with the knowledge of technologies from the mechanics faculty. And I expect that the Italian Day, Design Day 2022, will be a place for all of us to share experience, to widespread the design philosophy for sustainable development into the whole society. And once again, on behalf of the HUCE, I would like to thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador Antonio Alessandro, PSO Corporation, and experts, and all of you and students for attending the program today. May all have good health and success, and the event a great success. I thank you very much.
Xin trân trọng cảm ơn bài
Thank you. The opening and welcoming remarks by Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Duy Hòa, Rector of the HUCE. And to continue, may I now have pleasure to invite Mr. Antonio Alessandro, Ambassador of Italy to Vietnam, to give opening remarks. Gentlemen, please.
Good afternoon. Here in Hanoi, in Ho Chi Minh City, and in Italy. And welcome to the 2022 edition of the Italian Design Day in Vietnam. This is the very first large event in presence since some time because of the pandemic. So we are particularly glad to be able to meet again, although with some measures, and connect ourselves physically. Let me begin by thanking Professor Pham Duy Hoa, for the rector of the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, for hosting the conference and for collaborating with the Embassy of Italy in many initiatives, and in the Design Day in particular. We are grateful for your continuous cooperation with us, and we hope to further strengthen our partnership in the years to come. I also would like to thank Mr. Christian Manhart, UNESCO representative to Vietnam. His participation is particularly meaningful, being the city of Hanoi a member of the UNESCO Creative City Network, precisely in the field of design. So I also acknowledge the presence of representatives from the Hanoi People's Committee. But let me greet and thank in particular Marco Lambri, architect Marco Lambri. Thank you so much for being with us from your studio in Italy. I greet you and thank you for being with us today. We look forward to listening to your presentation in a little while. Today, you will lead us across a journey. You will lead us in a journey across the history, the amazing history of Italian design, and the role that Italian design has played in combining functionality, beauty, and sustainability. This is the key. These are the key words of our Italian Design Day in 2022. I also acknowledge our public and our guests and friends in Ho Chi Minh City, at the Hotel Caravelle in Ho Chi Minh City, the Italian Consul General Enrico Padula, the Italian Trade Commissioner Fabio De Cillis, and my dear friend, chairman of Piaggio Vietnam, Gianluca Fiume. Thank you so much to all of you for following the conference from Ho Chi Minh City. You will have a separate program after the conference, and I wish you success for the rest of the day in Ho Chi Minh City. In this regard, let me say that I really always glad to work with Piaggio anytime we talk about promotion of Italian lifestyle and made in Italy. The Piaggio exhibition outside this room in the university courtyard tell us a lot about the history of this amazing company, Italian company. So I invite you all to visit and enjoy the exhibition next door. And of course, I thank the students, all the students are here and online, because this Italian Design Day is for you. So you are our main target, if I may say so, and I know that you have participated actively in the workshop this morning with Matteo Ballini from Piaggio, and I hope that it was useful to you and for your studios, for your studies. Let me say that despite the war that is ravaging Europe following the unjustified aggression in Ukraine by the Russian Federation, Italy has decided to keep the Italian Design Day, because we see design as a tool to promote cooperation among people, and we believe in the ability of the great masters of design to help us understand our world and shape our future. Launched in 2017 by the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Italian Design Day is held in more than 100 cities worldwide. Our main purpose is to promote the history and modernity of the Italian design, share experience with partners worldwide, and encourage the exchange of ideas and innovative practices. The theme for this year's edition of Italian Design Day is really crucial for our societies. Regeneration, design and new technologies for a sustainable future. It highlights one of the main challenges of today, how to combine growth with sustainability. And the key words again are reusing, renewing, recycling. This is the new words we have to get used to them more and more. Design also plays a fundamental role in reshaping the habitat and the mobility in our cities. By 2050, 2/3 of the world's population will live in urban areas. It is therefore crucial to rethink the relationship between people and territories, between objects and spaces around us. And all these themes are very relevant for Vietnam. Vietnam, like Italy, is extremely exposed and vulnerable to the impact of climate change. At COP26 in Glasgow in November last year, Vietnam joined hands with the international community by pledging to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. The Italian Design Day aims at exploring ideas and solutions that can contribute to Vietnam's efforts to shift to a green, circular, and low-carbon development model. The Italian Design Day is also part of the campaign for the candidature of Rome to host the World Expo 2030, whose proposed title is People and Territories, Urban Regeneration, Inclusion and Innovation. We believe that for its history, its heritage, its creativity, Rome is the ideal place to host the future Expo, World Expo. The Italian Design Day is also the launching platform for the 60th anniversary of Il Salone del Mobile in Milan. It will take place from the 7th to the 12th of June this year. This Salone del Mobile, I think you know, it's the largest fair of its kind in the world, and really gathers the most renowned designers and brands from all over the world. And now that the restrictions to mobility are removed, both in Italy and in Vietnam, we really hope that many Vietnamese professionals can attend this special event in Milan and take advantage of its extraordinary atmosphere. The design industry is pivotal for the Italian economy and contributes significantly to the Italian GDP. It is also an important sector of Italy-Vietnam trade relations, and with great potential for further growth. Italy and Vietnam are strategic partners and will celebrate next year 50 years of diplomatic relations. Our bilateral trade has reached $5.6 billion in 2021, and I'm sure it will further grow thanks to the AVFTA and to the post-pandemic recovery. Design is also one of the most important areas of academic and scientific exchange between Italy and Vietnam. A growing number of Vietnamese students go to Italy to pursue their higher education in the field of architecture and design. And the embassy and the consulate general, together with the Unitalia office in Vietnam, are committed to facilitate this exchange and this mobility of students and researchers. Design is finally one of the sectors highlighted by the social media campaign, Italy is simply extraordinary, be it, currently taking place in 26 countries, including Vietnam. This campaign aims at promoting the 6 key values that better express the image of Italy in the world: creativity, passion, heritage, style, innovation, and diversity. So with this, I conclude my welcoming remarks. I thank you for listening to me, and now we give the floor to architect Marco Lambri. Thank you very much, and enjoy the Italian Design Day 2022.
Thank you, Ambassador, Your Excellency Ambassador. And to continue our program today, this is also the very important part of the program today. May I introduce architect Marco Lambri, design director of the PSO Corporation and also the ambassador of the Italian Design Day 2022. He's going to present us very shortly.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay, let's start. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marco Lambri. It's a pleasure to be here with you to celebrate the Italian Design Day. I would like to thank the Italian ambassador to Vietnam, Antonio Alessandro, and the ADI, the Italian Design Association, to give me the opportunity to talk about design, about Italian design. A brief presentation of myself and my job. I graduated in architecture and design at the Politecnico di Milano many years ago. And I always worked with product design, but especially with transportation design. I always dreamed since I was child, drawing cars, motorcycles, and I think I'm very lucky because I have turned a dream into my job. And since the dream, the vision of the future, have a closer relationship with design, today I will try to share my vision of design, where the human being is at the center of a system in which design has a fundamental role for today and tomorrow generation. Next. Thank you. And since the dream, the vision of the future have a close relationship with design, I like to start with these 4 images. In these pictures, you can see the Vitruvian Man drawn by Leonardo da Vinci, a drawing even by Leonardo da Vinci representing a flying machine like a helicopter, and photograph of a helicopter prototype designed by Corradino d'Ascanio, who is the inventor of the Vespa, and his original drawing representing the Vespa. As you can see, there are many similarities: the central human being and the dream of flying. Next, thanks. Talking about design, and especially about Italian design, without considering what we have experienced in the last 2 years, it would be probably wrong. It would be wrong because design is a discipline with technical, but also humanistic basis. And it has a strategic role in the development of everything that surrounds us. For that reason, it becomes a tool to cope with changes. So changes, discontinuity are an opportunity, and design as a tool can give us the possibility to look to the future in dreaming scenarios, like those the futurists imagined 100 years ago, painting the mobility, evolution, and the sensation of speed. Next. We are living in a complex world made up of spaces, relationships, products, which interact with ourselves. It happens in every moment of the day, during our lives, and those of future generations. The generation I would like to talk about are those of regeneration, where design has the task of thinking about the future. Design must look to the future and anticipate it for our own and future generations. And it can do that with courage also, breaking down barriers. Next. I was saying that the design is a complex system made up of people, designers, companies, schools. Design can improve people's lifestyles, supporting everyday life, but also exciting and making people happy. With design, we can face today and tomorrow. It is a tool that combines the past with the future, tradition with innovation. Design has a great opportunity, but also a great responsibility. And speaking of the actions it can take, as a representative of Italian design, I will try to communicate my vision of our design culture and what we can really do as a designers. Next. Living in Italy is a unique experience. And as an Italian, I have to say that we are often not fully aware of it. Italian design has lived through the 20th century, leaving a strong imprint on people's culture and lifestyle. And this Italian way has developed a unique and multiform design culture. It has combined the country's tradition of craftsmanship with experimentation. This has been achieved through a process of industrial and technological innovation by designers and also by companies. Here you can see how a man like De Pero, artist, graphic and product designer, in 1930 represented the evolution of the modern city in this futuristic picture, and how at the same time he designed a very, very famous bottles for an important company. So creativity and industries united. Next. Under the word Italian design, there are very different words. Fashion, furniture, architecture, graphics, consumer goods, and much more. In all these sectors, our country competes on international markets for quality and originality of interpretation. As you can see, Italian design is not recognizable by its forms like German or Scandinavian design. It has many different forms, but it is recognizable by its creativity. Next. Italy has developed a design vision that has become a guide in the way we think about objects. The technical and industrial side was combined with the humanistic and poetic side in the vision where creativity and industry worked together. Many success stories were born. We could talk about furniture, cars, fashion. Italian design has materialized ideas in a unique way. And this has influenced people's lifestyle because every object is related to our life. So let's see how this phenomenon was born. Next. Italian design has lived through the last century, leaving a strong imprint on how the shape of everyday object is perceived. It was at the end of the war, when the need to rebuild a country, that Italian design began to develop. After the war, all Western countries reacted with great energy. But in Italy, the conditions were unique. Reconstruction, a positive idea of the future, the small size of the companies and the value of the entrepreneurs fused with the tradition of craftsmanship generated the economic boom of the 50s and the 60s. And the design played an important role in the regeneration of Italy. Next. The recognizability of Italian products compared to foreign productions consisted in the lack of adoption of a codified language. This was due to the creativity of designers, but also to the relationship with the manufacturing companies. In Italy, after the war, the desire of modernity entered every sector, from food to city building. Design was the answer to new needs and the stimulus to create new ones. Look at these images, how an object as simple as a chair has been interpreted in different ways, in different shapes, in different materials and symbolism. From Gio Ponti's Superleggera to Mendini's Spruce, what is common is creativity, not shapes, not codes. Next. Italian designers and Italian companies have created true icons for many sectors: fashion, industrial products, graphic arts, many fields. They have contributed to the construction of the national image, whether it be a Vespa, a city car, or a super sport car. Italian designers have been able to preserve, to reinterpret and project the values of our culture into the future, often creating icons. And the company I work for, Piaggio, produces one of these beautiful examples, the Vespa. Next. A beautiful example of Italian design, I was saying, the Vespa. After the war in Italy, we had the problem to reconverting production from war to civilian production. A real breakthrough in the field of accessible transport for all was thanks to Piaggio. In 1946, Piaggio presented the Vespa designed by Corradino d'Ascanio. Before the war, they produced airplanes, and they decided to introduce some aeronautical study into a scooter. The Vespa is a scooter with a steel body, which is not a cover for mechanical parts, but also is the structure, like airplanes. In this case, the technology transfer from aeronautical field was and it is evident. Next. To describe why Vespa is so revolutionary and innovative, we should start by talking about its first steps. In the 1946, the year of its birth, it contained all the elements that made it a unique scooter. Forms followed functions. Then Vespa has added to its innovative DNA the ability to interpret markets and customers in a unique and original way. Vespa is an original invention, useful and beautiful. Its creator, Corradino d'Ascanio, fused creativity and mechanical engineering into a functional, very simple and easy to ride vehicle. And this is probably one of the secrets of the Vespa success. Next. Vespa was also an innovative scooter in terms of communication. Looking at the shape of the first prototype, the MPC, and listening to the hum of its engine, Enrico Piaggio, the owner of Piaggio company, exclaimed, "It looks like a wasp," a Vespa in Italian. And from that word came a revolution also in communication. The Vespa convinced everyone with its unique design, and it changed the way to move around the world. This two-wheeler proves once again that it's not just a scooter, but a way to live mobility differently. Next. Vespa has been and is a big success, becoming one of the most famous Italian vehicle in the world. Designing it is a beautiful experience, but also a great responsibility. As a designer, we work every day on an icon that represents Italian style. And we walk along a narrow path in balance between past and future, between tradition and innovation. It isn't easy, and making mistakes is possible. Despite this, thanks to the work of those who design it, who project it, who communicate it and sell it, Vespa is still a success all over the world. Next. And speaking of markets, of Vespa markets, the Vietnamese market is an example of great success. Vespa has been able to enter this market and learn from its customers. Vespa looks the same all over the world, but to respect the needs of different customers, different countries, it hides small differences. One of the most important things about this country, for sure, is the presence of young people. Seeing so many young people riding Vespa in Vietnam, those new generations of which I spoke at the beginning of my presentation, is a great satisfaction. We have a lot of consideration for them, and we are working hard to make beautiful Vespas for them and Vietnamese market. Next. But now let's go back to my initial thoughts, having understood through the Vespa history how design plays an important role in changing people's lifestyle. Mobility people in that case. We've seen how innovations, technologies, new material are the territory in which design acts. Vespa is just one example. Design can enrich its traditional areas with new application scenarios through the evolution of electronics, digital, robotics, and artificial intelligence. As in the image you see, design can work to protect people's safety, like a helmet, or it can think of a new system to brake electric vehicles, or it can design prostheses to help people with problems. The role of design is always important and can improve people's lives. And why not creating value with business? Next. For all these reasons, design is a strategic tool, and the new generation could use to rethink the world of tomorrow. It will be based on the union of creativity, green economy, new materials, digital, many things, but also on respect for tradition. As you can see in these pictures, with new technology or by looking at new lifestyles, we can rethink lighting systems or simple benches in an innovative way, but coherent with today's values. Next. So, regeneration has several meanings. It is for young people, the new generation, and at the same time, for a new way to generate ideas. Ideas like giving things and materials a second chance through reuse, recycle. Also, this is part of the concept of regeneration. In these images, for example, there are different interpretation of regenerations in material or in the technologies applications. Next. With that approach, design will become more and more strategic. It will be able to build a new idea of modernity, where products, services, and all the relationships that connect them become a great opportunity for everyone. If we think about the evolution of our cities, if we think about mobility, we find endless possibilities to change and improve people's lives. Vehicles are changing, the way we move is changing, everything is changing. Next. To finish my presentation, I would like to say that design can contribute to generate a vision of the future, where ideas, products, services, and all the relationship between them become a great opportunity for everyone, especially for future generations. The important thing is not to forget the human being must be at the center of our thoughts, of our projects. And whether the Vespa of the future has wheels or wings, it will always be the Vespa, because I think it was designed around its rider. So thank you for your attention. I hope that my thoughts have generated other thoughts, or I don't know, maybe dreams. Thanks again to all.
A lot for your presentations, architecture, Marco Lambri. I see that we have a lot of students from HUCE here today with your presentations. We believe that the students got the inspirations for their job in the future, for their design, Italian designs, and perhaps is one of the countries that has the well-developed design industries, and your designs has the uniqueness and also the high tech. Thank you a lot, architecture Marco Lambri. To continue, I would like to pass the floor to Mr. Christian Manhat, the representative of UNESCO office in Vietnam. Please have a look on the screen.
Your Excellency, Ambassador of Italy, Antonio Alessandro, dear guests, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to represent UNESCO at the Italian Design Day celebrated here in Vietnam. And I wish to apologize if I cannot be with you today, but I'm out of Hanoi on a field mission at the moment. I'm actually personally very interested in design, because when I was young, for several years it was my dream to become a designer, but finally I studied art history and archaeology. And as we all know, design is a combination of culture, creativity and technology, and this is not just about creating beautiful things, it is making them functional. And good design helps transforming our surroundings into livable and sustainable spaces. That is why we are here today to celebrate design, to learn about the Italian experiences and to exchange innovative practices. Today's event is even more meaningful here in Hanoi, which is a member of the UNESCO Creative City Network in the field of design. And the city's authority approved a resolution on the development of culture and creative industries to realize Hanoi's vision as a creative capital of Southeast Asia. And as the only UN organization with a specific mandate in culture, UNESCO is committed to support creative economy as a driver of development. We support Hanoi to connect with key national and international partners to identify synergies in the cultural industries and also to attract further resources in expertise and in funding. And today's Italian Design Day should be very useful for students, professionals, and industrial experts to discuss and exchange the latest trends, challenges and opportunities. And this is even more important in a time of significant economic uncertainty to support the economic recovery of the city of Hanoi in the time of COVID-19. Once again, I would like to thank the Italian Embassy for this very timely initiative and the great program they have organized for today. And now I wish to all of you a successful event and look forward to future collaboration. Thank you.
Sir Christian Martin, the representative of UNESCO in Vietnam, after sharings and presentations of our guests. And now I would like to move to the next part, is the discussions of the webinar today, of the conference today. So the lecturers, the students, if you have any questions or you have any concerns that you want to ask our guest, our beloved guest today, please raise your voice. The floor is open. The floor is open. You can share or ask in Vietnamese because we have the simultaneous interpretation. So please feel free to ask if you have any questions, any concern about the design in Italia, about Piaggio, Vespa. The floor is all open for you. It seems that because the students in Vietnam, they are quite shy. I can see that. Oh, I see a hand here. I have a question. How Vespa can have so much ideas, so many ideas. And one day, if you cannot come up with any new ideas, what are you going to do? That's my question. Thank you. Are you unclear about the question, or you want me to repeat again? So Vespa, you have a lot of ideas. So if one day that you run out of ideas, what are you going to do? What Vespa are going to do?
Mr. Marco, can you hear us from Vietnam? Mr. Marco?
Oh, I think Mr. Marco, Mr. Marco, you're on mute.
Just now there was a question by one of our students that I would like to translate to you. He would like to ask the reason why Piaggio, particularly the Vespa brand, you have a lot of interesting ideas. And what if one day you find out that you are running out of ideas? Are you afraid of that? And how would you solve that problem? So please turn on your microphone and please answer these queries by one of our students. Thank you.
Yes, but I didn't understand very well the question. Could you please repeat?
Okay, the question was, he was asking why does Piaggio, and particularly the Vespa brand, has a lot of interesting and elegant ideas. The second question is that what if one day you find out that you run out of ideas, then what will you do?
Why? During my presentation, I tried to explain what is our culture and our approach in designing. So I don't know. There are many reasons, but I think that in Italy there is a culture that helps us as a designers to design beautiful things. In Italy, we are very lucky because we have the sun, we have architecture, we have history, we have arts. All those stimulus probably contributes to give to designer this original approach. Regarding the future and our future projects, we really work every day watching to the future, but watching also to the past. Here in Tuscany, in Pontedera, where I am now, the design department is closed to our museum, the Vespa Museum. And you have to say that as a designer, there we can find many stimulus, because from the past, from the tradition, from our values, we can learn a lot. But as a designers, we have to look forward to the future. So it's not so easy to explain what is this formula. But I think that it is a combination of all those things.
Thank you, Mr. Marco Lambri. Có câu hỏi nào khác? Oh, there is.
I'm not a student, but I think that since we are hosted by the University of Civil Engineering in Hanoi, and students here are learning design, I just wanted to ask you if you can tell us which are the major centers, not only universities, but centers where designers are trained in Italy. Of course, there is education at the university, but then there are, I think, centers where you can practice and experience and start being a designer. Can you tell us something about that?
Yes, we have many relationships with the university and students, and we believe that schools are very, very important. There we find the ideas of the future, and inexperience of students is very important for us, because their ideas are very pure, not conditioned by the everyday job we have to do. So I think that the combination between university and companies is very important. We have many collaborations with university in Italy, but also in other countries, and I think that is a very important thing. And students, in this case, will be the designers, the architects of the future, and it is nice, interesting to see and to understand how they see, how they imagine the future, and in my case, the vehicles of the futures.
Thank you very much for your question, and also for your answer, Mr. Marco Lambri. Any other question from the audience?
Lecturer Lân, if you have any questions for the architect.
I would like to introduce Professor Lân. He's the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Architecture from our university, and he would like to ask Mr. Lambri a small question.
Kính thưa quý vị, tôi thì cũng có một câu hỏi.
Gentlemen, I have a question. Actually, it is what I still really wonder. Architect Lambri is an architect yourself, and but now he's the designer of an industrial manufacturer. So, what is the transformation?
Mr.
Lambri.
Please be sure to switch to the English channel to listen to the translation of the question. Yeah, please switch to the English channel for the translation. Thank you.
Okay.
Vâng, tôi xin đặt câu hỏi lại.
I will say the question again. I know that Lambri is an architect. You are an architect, and in Italy, whether the working area is large or not, but in Vietnam, for architects, Vietnamese architects, we only design houses. But for Lambri, you are now the industrial designer. So the journey is quite inspirational for our students who are major in architecture. So can you share with us about your transformation? Yeah, from architect, now you are the industrial designer. So can you share your stories with us? Thank you.
I lose the initial part of the questions, the translation.
Let me tell you again. You are an architect. Yeah,
yes.
Architect.
Okay,
you are also in the now an industrial designer. So what is
okay? I understood. In Italy, the relationship between architects and designers is very particular. In my field, in transportation design, designers are usually transportation designers, not architects. But I believe that to understand the complexity we are living in and more humanistic approach like those of architects, and it is better. I think that to design objects, vehicles in my case, it is necessary to understand how is the context, the environment. I cannot design a vehicle without considering how are the roads or the road lighting. So I think that the culture of architecture is more complete, not so specialized as the one of pure designers. And if you think at the 50s and the 60s, when Italian design was born and became famous, all those designers were architects. I don't believe in the super specialization. I think that we have to have a complete vision of the world. And I think that architecture gives a part of humanistic and technical, have both. And to me, that is very important.
for the questions and the discussion from students and delegates and Mr. Lambri. And I think that we have a special event, a brief but meaningful event with a lot of sharings and especially the inspiration to students. And as Mr. Lambri has shared, architect in English. If you look it up, architect in English means to create, to make something new. And this sense of meaning is closely associated with life and technique. And there's no reason. So we are the designers, we are the architects. So we should be open. We should be open to the interdiscipline. You are studying architecture, you are studying arts, and you are studying creation. So in this combined approach, you can be successful. And to conclude the Italian Design Day today, I would like to invite Ambassador Excellency Antonio to give some sharing with all of us. Your Excellency, Ambassador, please.
Thank you. Actually, before concluding, and you are most welcome to conclude the event, I wanted to take advantage of the presence of Marco Lambri and other colleagues and friends from Piaggio to speak for a moment about mobility in our urban cities, in the urban environment in which we live. Because, as you know, scooters in particular are the main mean of transportation for the Vietnamese people, for example. And so I think that the design concerning means of transportations and scooters in particular is particularly relevant to Vietnam. Now, designers usually are also able to guess the future, are able to predict sometimes our future. So may I ask Marco Lambri, but also our friend from Piaggio here, how do you see the future of mobility in our world and in a country like Vietnam in particular? Thank you.
For my side, my designer view of the future of mobility, it is very interesting because mobility is changing, vehicles are changing, and technology inside vehicles is changing. The electric engines are changing completely the architecture or vehicles, and for us it is a great opportunity. I can say what we are working on for the future, but I would like to say one thing. If you think at the Vespa, you know, we produce the electric Vespa. Vespa has been able to accept the new technology of electric engine, and so battery, inverter, and so on. And technology had to adapt itself to Vespa. So the shape of Vespa, the icon of Vespa, is more strong than technology. In other cases, for other brands, we think that we can completely change the architecture, so the styling, the shapes of vehicles, because they aren't icons like Vespa. So to answer to your questions, it's a very interesting moment, and mobility is changing, but we have many possibilities and solutions. When we work on icons like Vespa, we have to respect the past, and we have to interpret the introduction of a new technology respecting the tradition. There are other cases where we can completely renew the architecture of the vehicle. But I cannot say what we are doing because, as you said, we live in the future, and now we are designing, we are studying the vehicles you will see on the road in the next years.
Thank you, Mr. Lambri. May I invite Mr. Matteo Ballini? You would like to share something about the future of mobility in Vietnam? Please provide it.
My feeling is that it's clear that the world is going to the direction of green mobility, electric, recycled material, and so on. But I think that we are talking about Italian design today. The rule that we have, especially for, in this case, for our company, for Vespa, is how we interpret this new green vehicle, new green mobility, because we have our must is to create an emotion in our customer. Vespa always reach this target, creating an emotion in the heart of the consumer. And in the future, we have to interpret this new trend, and we have to personalize in our Italian, and permit, because I work for Vespa, in the Vespa way, this new mobility that is arriving. There will be a lot of new company that will go in this direction. Our job is to give the emotion to the new green product that will arrive. There will be some technical aspects that everybody will have. We have to distinguish to the other from this point of view, from the design.
Cảm ơn các quý vị đại biểu như là
Thank you, distinguished guests, and the students with all of your sharings, especially the questions. His Excellency Ambassadors Italy Antonio Alessandro. I think that here I see the hand of the student. Hello, good afternoon. Can you, in the market, Vietnam market, we have the big company. They have electrical bicycles such as VinFast, or in the world they have Tesla with the electrical vehicle. So how can you compete with the big brands? How can you compete with those big brands like Tesla, where they are specialized in electric vehicles?
Related to Mr. Ballini, because he is familiar with the economic condition and the market in Vietnam. So could you catch the question just now by the student?
Maybe I can repeat what I said before. It's clear that the brand are going in this direction. VinFast already introduced here in Vietnam some years ago the electric vehicle. We are going in this direction thanks to Vespa Elettrica and other products. And we have to add a emotional feeling to our design to distinguish to these brands. Also Tesla, as you mentioned, is arrived on the market. Maybe it was the first to introduce, but it's the job of the other brands also in the automotive car is going in the direction to create something of more interesting from the design point of view. It is job that several brands are doing. And from our side, we have a very important brand that is Vespa, but also Piaggio, that can work in this direction, giving this advantage that is in our DNA, that in DNA of the Italian group, and we can use this for compete in this very interesting competitive environment of the future.
One more
Hello,
question.
The topic of the event today is Italian Design Day. So beside the design, I would like to ask Mr. Ambassador something about Italy. According to the annual report of Brand Finance, at least since 2015, Italy has kept its position in the top 10 of the nation brands. So I want to ask Mr. Ambassador, what have you done in the past years to keep your position in the top 10 in the context that a lot of countries are promoting their brands, national brands? And from the second question, from the point of view, so Vietnam is also promoting its nation brands as well. So from the point of view, your point of view, what can Vietnam, what should Vietnam do, and like, what would be the key points for Vietnam to promote? Thank you very much.
Yeah, interesting question, because the nation branding is a new area of marketing. So not only companies are marketing themselves, but also countries market themselves. This is called the soft power of countries compared to hard power, which is, of course, military power or economic power as such. We are talking of soft power. So what is the soft power that a certain country expresses? And from this point of view, thank you for recalling that Italy is particularly strong from this point of view, always among the top 10 countries in terms of image that we have. How is this possible? That is the result of a number of factors. Certainly our history, our appeal as a tourist destination, certainly our role in the history of world. If you think about the ancient Romans and then the Renaissance, and so there is a mix of a number of factors that adds to this strength in terms of image, and then our food, our beauties as a country. But these are all secondary aspects, because the main reason for being in the top 10 is creativity. And the creativity is what the people and companies are able to produce in Italy, which is a country with very scarce resources. So it's a country that has always transformed resources, import and re-export, because Italy is not a rich country as such. It is a country that has always manufactured resources coming from abroad, transforming and re-exporting, and adding creativity in this process. So the main reason for Italy to to have such a strong soft power is, I believe, creativity. And the second question is about Vietnam. And I think that Vietnam also has a very strong soft power due to its history, of course, due to its people. Again, food. Don't underevaluate the importance of food nowadays, and the Vietnamese food is growing in terms of popularity. Also, Vietnam is an important tourist destination, so there are a number of factors that also make Vietnam a strong soft power nation. Its creativity, you are improving a lot, I believe, compared to some years ago. There is much more dynamism, and many brands are coming up, many talents are coming up. So I think that certainly Vietnam, also because of the youth of its population, high percentage of young people in your population balance, Vietnam has a bright future ahead. And the soft power of your country is part of this future. I hope I have answered your question. Thank you very much.
Cảm ơn cái phần các cái
Thank you for the questions. I can see that you really pay attention to the conference and you have the good observations. You got the interesting questions about the national brand. This is Vietnam also want to increase in the futures. Thank you very much, His Excellency Ambassadors of Italy. His Excellency mentions about the soft powers, and one of the soft power that Vietnam has is related to the food, the cuisinery of Vietnam. One of the food that of Vietnam that recorded in the Oxford dictionaries is bánh mì. Oh, it seems that we have one more question.
I have a question. I find that every culture has its own understanding of beauty, and I just want to mention motorbikes. So Piaggio for Italian brand Piaggio, for example, then you have designed Italian motorbikes, but it is well known in all the world. It is said that if you buy a Japanese motorbike, you can use it as a transportation. But if you buy a Vespa or Italian motorbike, that means you buy a lover, a girlfriend or boyfriend for you. So so I want to say that when Italian designers design a motorbike, which do you mean? You mean the means of transportation, or you mean a well-known brand? Let me summarize the question for you. Italy is quite famous for its beautiful artistic brand products. So when Italian designs, say a Vespa or a motorbike, which do you put more importance? It is a beauty or it is a function?
I think we have to combine both the beauty and the function, and that is not easy. Vespa, to me, is a very good example of beauty and functionality work very well together. For sure, you have to know that every brand has a history, heritage, and we have to find what are the main characteristics, the main styles that a brand has. We should respect them, but we have to be able to project them into the future. You have to consider that tastes are changing, and also Italian design is changing. During my presentation, I tried to say and to explain that Italian design hasn't a code. It is multiform, but you can recognize it through the sensation it gives us. So coming back to motorcycle design, our design is usually made by good proportions, smooth shapes and surfaces. Vespa is female. You can touch a Vespa. I think that there is a foreign designer that it's too hard, to not so smooth, and it communicates something completely different from our language. And I think that it distinguished us in our design.
Xin cảm ơn các quý đại biểu và
delegates and students for the discussion, for the Q&A. And finally, we have broken the ice and warm up the atmosphere, as students are the future designers. You are the owner of the today's discussion. We are the organizers only. Students are the owner of the event. And outside the meeting hall today are the exhibition of piezo and Vespa models. Please spend your time getting to know and experiencing these models. And you can invite your friends to come and experience the quintessence of design of piezo, of Vespa, the favorite model. And I would like to have some comments to conclude the Italian Design Day 2022 at Hanoi University of Civil Engineering. As said by the rector of the university, we are so proud of being trusted and accompanied with the program over the last few years. And we expect to receive a trust from the embassy again for the coming time. And we would like to thank you, the Excellency Ambassador and representatives from Piezo, for coming here today and directly sharing with our students. This is one of the first events, offline events, and we'd like to thank you, representatives from the French Embassy to Vietnam, Hanoi Planning Institute, or UNESCO for attending the event, Italian Design Day 2022. At the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, and we hope that you have very good experience. Not only the workshop today, but the Piezo Expo outside, and the program is within today and tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the test drive, so we would like to invite all of you to join us yeah, for the test drive.
đón tiếp quý vị
Yeah.
và các bạn sinh viên đến với lại cả cái buổi
Welcome all of you to the test drive of Piaggio and Vespa
của các dòng xe Piaggio và Vespa
models.
Lần nữa xin
And once again, thank you all of you for spending your time, and may all of you have a good health and success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marco Lambri.
Grazie a tutti.
Mr. Marco Lambri, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.